So, all right, guys, we got to get this one right. On three, we're going to say, welcome back to Extraordinary Thoughts Flowing in Mind. 1, 2, 3.
Welcome back to Extraordinary Mind.
And we back.
That'll work right there.
Yeah.
And we back. And we
Yeah.
back. And we back. And we
Y'all did y'all best. And that's all that
and
matters.
we
What's going on, everybody? It's that ordinary podcaster with the extraordinary thoughts that tells you to stop being great and be extraordinary. I'm your host, Demetrius Thickfan, also known as Meech Speaks, and welcome back to another episode of Extraordinary Thoughts for the Ordinary Mind. All right, so a couple of things before I get into today's topic. So I had put up like this little poll, and I said, if you could tell a podcaster if you can give a podcaster three things to remember as they go into their new podcasting career, what would it be? And this guy, I don't know if he was in the closet with me when I was recording, but he said, quality of content is always more important than audio quality. Podcasting is a long-term goal. Stick with it. You can get great guests by asking great people. Don't limit yourself because you don't think your show is big enough. Damn. It really felt like as if he was talking directly to me. And I know that was just a general term for like new podcasters, but it really felt like he was talking directly to me because those were some real big insecurities that I was facing earlier, in the very beginning of episode 1 through episode, honestly, I feel like I didn't start getting confidence until I think when we went into season 2, 100%. Like season 2 was probably like the point where I started like getting confidence. Like when I did that show up in LA, shout out to the podcast pig, Good News Radio. That's when I actually started getting my confidence and my footing because it was weird to hear people react. It was so weird to hear people react to the things that I was saying. You know what I mean? Because for those who don't understand, when I'm in here. I don't have a co-host. I don't have anybody. It's just me. So when I say something, I don't realize if it's powerful, if it's good, if it's impactful. I'm just saying it. So when I was in front of that live crowd, people were reacting in a live manner. You see what I'm saying? So what I was saying, they were like, oh, okay. And I'm just like, oh, okay. That's crazy. And also, given the situation, the setting that I was in, because you also got to think about I'm also a speaker, a motivational speaker. And, people don't just stand up in the middle of your thing and be like, take your time. Oh, yeah, that's it. That part, like it's a lot more professional. But anyways, happy Labor Day, everybody. I wasn't going to put out an episode just because I rarely put out any episodes over the holidays, just for the simple fact I don't think that people are listening to them. I'm under the impression that people listen to podcasts on their way and on the way back from work. But fun fact, majority of people listen to podcasts at their homes. Like most people, and you're probably listening to this podcast at your house, drinking your cup of coffee or doing something and I'm just background noise. But majority of the people listen to podcasts in their homes, and then it's, they listen to it in their car and stuff like that. I've been playing myself this entire time. But speaking of cars, and once again, if you are not following me on Instagram, you are doing yourself a disservice. You're doing yourself a disservice. My Instagram is lit. I posted a picture of my windshield. And you can see it. My windshield is fucked up. Like, it's fucked up. Now, I'm not going to get into the details of how it got messed up or anything of that nature. Just know that the windshield is messed up. And thank God nobody was hurt. Nobody was hurt. The only thing that's hurting right now is my pockets because I have to pay for it. But, as I'm sitting there looking at the windshield, how many of us have been victim to this right here? We see a problem. We see a problem in life. But instead of, honestly, let me just continue with the story before I go into the segue of it. So as I'm looking at my windshield, I'm upset. I'm calling around, asking for like, hey, can we fix it today? They're like, no, we can't fix it until Tuesday. Oh, here's the price. Here's this. I didn't even take into consideration the things that I was more upset about. I was upset about the fact that I couldn't get it fixed on Tuesday. I couldn't get it fixed now. I had to wait. Fuck the fact that I actually have the money to be able to get it done. And what I really wanted you to take into consideration right here is that a lot of times we get hit with problems, but we don't even realize that it could be worse. Like we get hit with some horrible things in life, and we don't realize it could be worse. And now when I say that, because I know a lot of people have heard that term used, and it's not to invalidate anything. It's not to invalidate anything. But when you really got to take a step back and just tell yourself, like, it could be worse. Like, as I was looking at my windshield, I'm upset, but then I'm thinking to myself, it could be worse. It could be worse. It could be the whole windshield, vice the passenger side. It could be worse. It could be that you didn't even have the money to be able to get it fixed. So now you got to wait another, 10 days to the next pay period just to get your windshield fixed. It could be worse. It could be that the entire car is damaged and you don't have a vehicle to get you from point A to point B. It could be worse. And I really wanted to just say that it could be worse. And a lot of times, like, we get so hung up in the problem itself. And I feel like I've talked about this before, but I'm going to just go ahead and just bring it back up. But ain't that what law of attraction is? You know what I mean? Like, ain't that what law of attraction really is? Like, based off of the positive and negative thoughts that we have is going to determine the positive and negative actions and outcomes within our lives. You know, we sit back and we talk about getting our chakras in line, getting our energies under control, but we ignore the true meaning of what law of attraction really is. And it's understanding that shit could be worse. And once again, that's not to invalidate. Because although it could be worse, this shit's still bad. Although it could be worse, we still do have a problem. That's not to minimize the problem. That's not to invalidate the problem. That's not to make anything worth less than what it is. But it could be worse. You see what I'm saying? Like, somebody right now is just, they're driving to a job that they don't want for money that they need. The whole time that they drive in their passions and dreams, I've said this before. And although this is some type of hell that I would never want to live in, it could be worse. Because in the first thing that I said, they're driving to a job that they don't want for money that they need. At least they are able to go somewhere where they can be able to do a service, to receive some funds, to be able to provide for their family. It could be worse. Because I remember, I go back in time a little bit. I remember when I was 15 working at Myers, pushing carts. And I thought at the time, I was the only one in the house working. Mom and sister were not working at that time. I'm buying groceries, months worth of groceries at 15. And I would sit back and I would say to myself, like, damn, it's, I hate the fact that I'm doing all of this. I wish that I could do this, but it could be worse. All of us couldn't be working. It could be worse. I couldn't be able to get those groceries. It could be worse. Too many times do we get caught up in this whole idea that, it's the problem. But we forget it could be worse. You just got out of a relationship. You saying, woe is me. I love this person. I gave this person my all. How could this person do this to me? I hate to, throw this back out there, but it could be worse. You could be spending the rest of your life with somebody who truly doesn't even love you. It could be worse. You could be stuck with somebody as your soulmate searches for you, but you still occupied with this bullshit of a person. It could be worse. See, we sit back and I keep harping on this, that we're talking about law of attraction, but the reality is that you have to be able to pull the good out of the bad. And that's, let's just go on the record and just say once again that just because I'm pulling good out of bad doesn't mean that bad shit doesn't happen. It's to be able to pull the good out of the bad. I'm not trying to invalidate you, but I am trying to empower you. That every setback is still an upgrade from the shit that you have overcame. I gotta say that. I just gotta say it one more time. The setbacks that you encounter are that would have ended you are just bumps and scrapes now. It's an upgrade from where you came. If you sitting back right now complaining about how your job sucks, go ahead, complain. That's your right. But don't forget that there was a time when you didn't have a job. If you sitting back and you complaining about how you got a flat tire, you're late for work, you got to be able to put some money down in X, Y, and Z. Don't forget them times where you used to ride the bus. You see what I'm saying? Like, sometimes we really got to just take a step back, and take a look at the grass. Stop and smell the flowers. That although shit is bad, it's not the end of the world. And I had to do that to myself. You know what I mean? Like, I really just had to go ahead, grab myself, because I was up there for a little bit. I was upset with myself. I wasn't upset with nobody but me. You feel me? And I'm always hard on myself. And as I was beating myself up, I had to grab myself and say, it could be worse. Okay? Go ahead, digest the feelings, accept what's going on, but it could be worse. You over here tripping about something that's really small, to be honest with you. You over here tripping about something that ain't that big of a deal. You really over here tripping about, you about to cough up a couple of dollars, but let's just be frank here. Be blessed that you also have those dollars to be able to cough up. Matter of fact, let's just go ahead. Let's just do a little exercise since we all got a little time on our hands real quick. Do me a favor. Think about the shit that's going on in your life right now, whether it's good or bad. You feel me? Think about the stuff that's not truly fulfilling you. Think about the shit that right now that, you feel content with. Take a look around in the house that you in right now. Take a look at the job that you going to right now. If you need to, go ahead, head outside, because you probably listening to this in your living room. Go ahead and look at the car you drive. And I want you to do me a favor real quick. Put the worst case scenario on that situation. That car you drive, imagine if you didn't have it. That house that you don't like, imagine if you didn't have it. That job that you don't like, imagine if you didn't have it. Those people that you can't stand to be around, imagine if nobody just said anything to you. It could be worse. It could be worse. Now that we have thought about it in that situation, we've given ourselves a little bit more gratitude. We've allowed ourselves to be human. Now, take a look at that car that you got right there. Take a look at the phone that you got in your hand. Take a look at the food that's in the refrigerator. The house that you in. Take a look at the situation that you're currently in and ask yourself, how can I make it better? Rather than complain about what's going on, you see what I'm saying? How can I make it better? It's not about why is this happening to me? It's what is this trying to show me? What is this trying to teach me? Where do you want me to go with this? When I first started speaking, I thought that I was just gonna, matter of fact, actually, let's get rid of that story. Last week, we get so caught up in wanting something that we don't even realize the things that are happening around us. I'm so caught up in trying to grow my following, I don't even realize my podcast is actually doing very well. I'm so worried about the podcast that I didn't even realize I just shared the stage with one of the biggest motivational speakers in the world. Come on now. What I'm trying to do is I'm not trying to invalidate you, but what I want you to understand is that sometimes we get into this mindset and we get into this rut of woe is me, but we don't even realize the full spectrum of what the hell's going on in our lives or how good our lives really are. Because let's just be frank here. The fact that you are able to wake up and have a complaint in your heart is still good. You see what I'm saying? And that's not to invalidate. But if you have time to complain, if you have time to be upset about something, you also have time to be able to make things work. You also have time to upgrade that situation. You also have time to be able to make the situation better. I've said it so many times, I get it. Life happens, but don't forget you happen in life. This could be worse, but it's going to get better. just like that, another extraordinary thought left this ordinary mind. I hope you enjoyed this episode half as much as I enjoyed making it. Stay tuned Mondays and Fridays. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram at Meech Speaks. Once again, that's Meech Speaks. Meech is spelled Meech. Don't forget to share this podcast, subscribe to this podcast, follow this podcast, pass this podcast to somebody, because this podcast was dedicated to helping everyone become a better version of themselves. Even though I don't know what that type of version is, I just know that you can be better. Lastly, don't forget to grab your copy of The Extraordinary Thought from the Ordinary Mind, available on Amazon, Barnes and Nobles. I think there's an electrical copy. You know what it is. Stay hungry, stay motivated. I'm out.